So I have a bit of a story time right now. I told you guys when I first started this vlog that I would be sharing the ups and downs, and this week I had kind of a down. But I'm actually really okay with it. It's kind of an interesting experience. So, first warning, some content might be considered not offensive. What's the term that they always use? Disturbing. Some of the content might be disturbing to some viewers. Well, I got home from Texas this week, and my son, who's 2, loves to see my drone fly. So I took it out. I didn't have a card in it or anything. I wasn't planning on filming, and so I was just playing around, showing him. And then my wife and he went to kind of go hiking, and I was going to follow him, but as we were walking towards the mountains, I saw this shot that I was like, oh, this would be kind of a cool idea to try, and so I was practicing it. And so I was flying sideways with the drone. In the process of flying sideways and relation to where the drone was, I hit a pine tree, and so the drone falls to the ground, hits the ground, flips over, and some props break off, and I'm like, oh crap, I'm trying to initiate a shutdown. And I'm not thinking, like I wish that everything that I've thought since then had gone through my brain right then, because the sensors weren't sensing the ground because it was upside down, so I couldn't land it or do the normal land. And I think because the props broke off, the motors were still spinning, and so that's why it didn't just initiate a shutdown. Because normally even if you mess up when you're just barely above the ground, it'll hit the side and the motors will turn off. I couldn't get it to shut off, so I ran over there and I grabbed the drone by the bottom of it, and I moved over and I was trying to turn the battery off to see if that would do it, and that didn't kill it. I was going to go take the battery out, and just before I took the battery out, a prop broke off and shot at my face, and I ended up with that. So it was really interesting emotionally, because I went from holy crap, my drone that I just bought is gonna get destroyed, to thank goodness that didn't just hit my eye, because like that's my camera eye when I do camera op or like handheld stuff, and I was just like, oh no. It was kind of crazy to come out of this experience just overwhelmed with gratitude that my face was okay, or my eyeball was okay. So then I ripped the battery out and it kills. After that, like, I had to manage the bleeding, because I don't know if you've ever been involved in face wounds, but I've been involved in a fair amount because I played rugby, and face wounds bleed a lot. So I got the bleeding to stop mostly, and my plan was to just go and glue myself back together. It was fairly wide, and it's, if you can see, let me see if I can. So hopefully you can see that. So it's kind of this triangle shape, and it was wider when it had the first impact. And then actually the most painful thing of this whole experience is my thumb. And I won't show you my thumb, but I clipped my thumb, and I didn't even notice this until after. I was bleeding out of my face, and it got on my thumb, and I was like, wait a minute, is my thumb bleeding too? And so I cleaned it off and it started bleeding. But my wife forced me to go to the Instacare or something like that, and they debated what they were going to do. One of the doctors didn't think they'd do a whole lot, and another doctor knew a stitch that was more effective, and then they wouldn't let us film the procedure, and I was really disappointed because we're in the car And I'm like, dang it, I don't have my GoPro or anything. Like, I could totally film this and make a really great vlog out of it, because, you know, sometimes you mess up, and most people probably don't end up with stuff like this on their face. But yeah, I was like super disappointed the whole time that I'm like, crap, I'm not gonna have footage of like my face when this is happening. I got a few shots on my phone. They're not super great, unfortunately, but oh well. So it was a good learning experience. So, safety tips: if you crash your drone, don't just run to it first thing. Make sure that you do everything you can to shut it down. So make sure you understand your drone, because I think a part of it is I'm still new, and probably in part of the panic I might not have operated all the sequences that you can do to shut it down properly. So I think that's something important that you got to know about your equipment, if it's a drone anyways, because this is not very big. Like, that's small, and those props were cruising. Let's see if I can, I've got, I think this is the prop that hit me in the face. So I'm guessing it was this end, but there is also the possibility that that end hit me. Safest option is definitely not to run up to your drone. At the same time, I feel better about the fact that I crashed, because at work today a buddy of mine come in and he talked to me about the times that he's crashed his drone. So I know I'm not the first person to crash a drone. But know your equipment for sure. And then don't get overly confident. I definitely got more obsessed with the moves that I was doing, and I'm super brand new at this. Like, I should have been a lot more careful than what I was doing. So make sure you practice all the basics and you're super used to your drones if you're gonna fly them. Thanks for tuning in. Be careful with your drones, especially if you crash them. But be careful before you crash it so that you can avoid stuff like this. So, with that, thanks for tuning in. For more content, hit subscribe. Thank you so much, and share it with all your friends. We'll talk to you later. Bye.